Hi, I'm Marty Nemko. Of late, I've been interspersing the writings of others with my own, and where I think it's worthy of your time. This is excerpts from a short story called Felix Emeritus by Joseph Epstein. The one time in Felix's life he didn't feel in exile was the 3 years in Buchenwald, the concentration camp. Monstrous in every way, yet, in retrospect, Felix sometimes viewed them as a period without the weight of introspection, lived chiefly with survival on his mind. Felix never advertised himself as a survivor of the Nazi camps. He even avoided short-sleeved shirts, lest the still unfaded tattooed number on his forearm show. He didn't want his years at Buchenwald to define his life, which would have given the Nazis, so he thought, the ultimate victory over him. Felix had met many people who thought of and spoke of little else but the camps, for whom the subject swallowed up their entire lives. Ms. Godkin, the activities director at the Northwood Senior Apartments where he lived, felt her duty to enforce a spirit of happiness among the denizens. She would have smiled through an earthquake. It took restraint for Felix to not respond to one of her "Have a wonderful day" by saying, "An uneventful one will be sufficient, thank you." One night, when Felix came down for dinner, he was surprised to discover he had walked into Viva Mexico night. He was greeted at the door to the dining room by Brunhilde-like Miss Godkin. "Hello, Professor," she explained in her sing-song voice, or should I say Buenos noches, and she twice clicked her heels against the parquet floor. Felix looked around the room. Many of the women seemed to have more enthusiasm for these evenings than the men. The women got up in garish clothes, in peasant blouses, red and green scarves, long dangling earrings, flowers in their hair. Many of the men, committed to being good sports, went along and wore bandanas around their necks, loose skin. A few had turned up in large sombreros which sat awkwardly on their bald head or thinning gray hair. Felix felt a stab of sadness for its occupants, once serious people whose usefulness was now considered exhausted, and who were passing their last years in this pitiful charade. After reading fellow denizen Mr. Schindler's book, Felix said to him, "Your thoughts about life are dark, very dark. Does life really seem so unremittingly bleak?" "Only," said Schindler, "when I think about it." "But what of acts of kindness," Felix asked, "or of self-sacrificing heroism, such as occur in war or even on the street?" "I consider those exceptions, brief intermissions from a cruel comic show. Life, Professor, is a test that everyone fails. That's how I've come to look at it." Felix responded, "And what of a mother's love for her children? Of the disinterested kindness of people to strangers? Of charitable impulses? That means nothing in your view?" "I haven't known much of that personally." As if by impulse, over which Felix had no control, Felix unbuttoned his shirt cuff and showed Schindler the tattooed number on his forearm. "I underestimated you," said Schindler. "You have seen the devil." "How, after the Nazis, could you go on living?" asked Schindler. "Perhaps because I like life," said Felix, "and am not fond of the unknown alternative." Schindler replied, "I have encountered mostly fools. I have known too little kindness. I've drawn my conclusions." Felix wished he could say something even mildly comforting. Schindler rose from the bench. A slender, beautiful young woman in a purple sweatsuit with a red headband encircling long blonde hair jogged by at a good clip. "Run, young lady," Felix thought. "Let your mind linger on thoughts of love, your own beauty, the delights of life. One day you too will know decrepitude. Your mind too will have little to think about but its own extinction." Felix too rose from the bench, and wordlessly the two old men shuffled out of the park to return to the party in celebration of the people and culture of Mexico. Those are excerpts from the short story Felix Emeritus by Joseph Epstein. As usual, I welcome your thumbs up and accept your thumbs down. I always look forward to your comments and especially like it if you hit the share button below. Share on your social media so my efforts can have broader impact. And I am flattered if you choose to subscribe to my channel, and certainly would welcome you taking a look at any of my 35 books. Perhaps most relevant to this is A Dose of Reality, but all 35 are on Amazon. In any event, I thank you for watching. I am Marty Nemko.